Now that the Minecraft 1.19 update is fully out, it's extremely important you know all the new spawn locations for all of the ores. So I created the ultimate 1.19 mining guide where you'll learn the best method for finding any ore in the game, including diamonds. Let's start off with the relatively new ore, copper. This spawns between Y level -16 and Y level 112, with the best level to collect copper being on Y level 48. However, if you want to improve your chances further, copper ore has a much higher spawn rate in the new dripstone caves. Now, lapis generates in two different batches. First off is between Y level -32 and Y level 30, with the most common being around Y level -1. However, there is a catch. Within this batch, the ores never generate exposed to air, meaning you will have to strip mine to find them. On the other hand, the second batch generates evenly between Y level -64 and Y level 64, meaning overall the best level for lapis is still Y level -1. Coal also has two batches, one of them being between Y0 and Y190, but with a reduced air exposure, meaning you are best off strip mining at Y level 95. Secondly, the other batch has a second range at Y level 136 to Y level 256, meaning the most common level would be up in the mountains at Y level 136. So iron generally spawns between Y -24 and Y54, most commonly spawning in the middle ground of Y15. The second batch actually spawns evenly between Y -63 and Y64, but it is important to mention that there can be huge iron veins that generate alongside tuff below Y level 0. Funnily enough though, iron is rather common nowadays, as it actually has a third batch spawning up in the mountains between Y80 to Y319, most frequent at Y level 232. Now, redstone has an interesting spawn formation, spawning between Y -63 and Y -32, and actually becomes more popular the lower you go down. But just remember, bedrock spawns down there, so I'd recommend sticking at around Y -59. The second batch generates nice and evenly between Y -63 and Y level -15. Emerald ore is actually one of the rarest ores in the game, only spawning in between Y -16 and Y320, being most common at Y236. Gold ore is located between Y -64 and Y32, most commonly found at Y -16. Once again though, spawning with reduced air exposure, so I would recommend strip mining. The second batch is much smaller and generates evenly at Y -48 to Y -64. However, it is very important to note within the Badlands biome, these ores generate from Y32 to Y256, making this biome the most common place to find gold. And finally, it's time to discover where the diamond ore now generates. This shiny ore spawns between Y -63 and Y14, and it's actually much more common the lower you go. But once again, because of bedrock, I personally recommend you strip mine at Y -59. And here's a list I compiled of all the most common places to find all the ores in the overworld. Finding diamonds in Minecraft can be hard, especially with the new update, and that's why it's extremely important you know where and how to find them. So I created the ultimate diamond mining guide, where you'll learn the best methods for finding diamonds. So before we touch on the best methods, you need to know where to find the diamonds. So I've cleared out this whole area starting at Y15 all the way down to Y -63. So your traditional diamond ore that looks like this is actually so much more rare now and spawns from Y15 up until you hit deep slate. The reason diamond ore is so much rare now is because not only is there a much smaller area for them to generate in, but diamonds now generate more frequently the lower you go. So although diamond ore is quite rare, deep slate diamond ore is definitely not. And you can see this as you go further down, the more diamonds spawn. Not only do they spawn more frequently, but they actually spawn in much bigger veins. You see, before 1.17, the biggest vein of diamond ore was 8, but now I've seen upwards of 17. Like, as I'm moving around here, you can just see how many diamonds are here. So great, diamonds spawn more frequently at the lowest level, so that's why you should strip mine, right? Well, no. I personally wouldn't recommend this. See, if you're mining at around Y-59, yes, you might find diamonds, but the other potential slots where it could have spawned have been overridden by bedrock, meaning, you guessed it, less diamonds for you. So what I found is the optimum layer is around -57, as it gives space for ore to spawn below you while still getting maximum returns. Anywhere from -57 to -51 can be good though, and will be your most efficient level to collect your diamonds. Okay, perfect, so now you know where to find the diamonds, but before I discuss the ultimate best method for getting these, make sure you're subscribed to give yourself some diamond finding luck, and I would really appreciate it. So I'm going to cover different methods today, starting with the traditional caving. Now we know caves in the new update are absolutely huge, so you'd expect to find loads of diamonds scattered around, but unfortunately, this is just not the case. Yes, you may find some diamonds this way, but not a crazy amount, as diamonds have a reduced air exposure, meaning it's much less frequent to see them in the caves. I go into this in much more detail in my ultimate mining guide, where I showcase how to find every ore in Minecraft if you're interested in that. Although it's harder to find diamond ore in caves, I do have a nice way around this. So I said diamonds have a reduced air exposure, but what doesn't count as air is water. I mean, it should do because there's literally oxygen in H2O. But what I'm getting at is the aquifer caves. These are the new huge underwater caves and do not affect the spawn rate of diamonds, meaning this is a really good way to get full diamond armour and full diamond tools. All you need is a helmet enchanted with respiration and you'll be able to get so many diamonds, especially with how big the caves are nowadays. Another bonus for you is that there are much less hostile mobs spawning in these caves, making collecting the diamonds a walk in the park. You can expect tropical fish, glow squids, and I guess the odd drowned. Other than that, get your diamonds, king. Now, it wouldn't be a diamond guide without the good old classic strip mining. Now, so far on this list, I'd say this is the most efficient way of collecting diamonds. So first off, make your way down to around Y-51 to -57. Personally, I suggest -57. Now there's two methods that get me a stupid amount of diamonds in my survival world, and they both have their perks. So the first one I use, I like to call it diagonal mining. So you start your bottom level at -57, mine in a straight line. Then move 2 blocks to the left and go up to Y-55. Then create a tunnel. And then all you have to do is recreate this pattern infinitely to cover as much space as possible, which gives you a high chance of finding diamonds from all the different tunnels, and you cover multiple levels. Now, the second one you could try is box mining. Mine in one direction 100 blocks. Turn right 100 blocks and keep going until you've fully made it back and formed a square. So from every tunnel, move over 3 blocks, leaving a wall of 2 blocks thick, and repeat the process. This covers a huge area, making it almost impossible to miss diamond ore, and it's very safe for mobs, especially with the way mobs work now. See, mobs used to be able to spawn from a light level of 7 or below, but now it must be absolutely pitch black with a light level of 0. This is good, as now, from where you place your torch, you can go 24 blocks away before having to place another one, thus using much less resources. Now, some people like to do this method, but in a 1x1 space, known as crawl mining. Although it is in some ways more efficient, I personally don't like it that much, as you move a lot slower, and also if you hit lava, it's much harder to retreat and move out the way, so I personally wouldn't recommend that. A very unique method is fossil mining. So if you don't know what this is, diamonds now spawn very frequently surrounding fossils underground, specifically below Y0. So as soon as you find a fossil underground, just mine around the stone and you'll find quite a few diamonds. Now you're probably asking, but how do I find these fossils in the first place? So I'll give you a nice little tool that makes life a whole lot easier. So if you search for a seed finder and scroll in on the world you're using, you can find the exact coordinates of every fossil in your world. Some people find this a little bit cheaty, but it's personal preference and probably the easiest way to find diamonds in 1.19. If you're a Minecrafter that doesn't actually even enjoy mining, well, you're in luck. You can collect diamonds from loot chests around your world, like dungeons and mansions, etc. Or even better, if you create a villager farm specifically with toolsmiths, weaponsmiths and armour villagers, you can trade for every diamond tool and every piece of diamond armour in the game. The downside of this though is you can't get diamonds themselves or diamond blocks, and you have to level up all your villagers for better trades. So that concludes the ultimate diamond guide in 1.19. Leave a comment with your preferred method. Mine is personally strip mining. Subscribe. Netherite is by far the best material in Minecraft, but it's also the rarest. It can take days for your average Minecraft player to actually find and collect enough ancient debris to yield full netherite tools and armour. But by the end of this ultimate netherite mining guide, you'll have full netherite in the next few hours. Despite people thinking netherite spawns in a set location, believe it or not, you can find it absolutely anywhere in the nether. From the top to the bottom, you'll find it everywhere. However, it most commonly spawns at Y14 and Y15. Therefore, searching for ancient debris on level 14 is the best, as you'll cover both levels. Now, before we jump into the mining methods, it's important you understand that you can get an absolute maximum of 5 debris per chunk. However, on average, only 2 spawn per chunk, which is why they are so rare. For those of you that don't know what a chunk is, this is a 16 by 16 wide area. You can access chunk borders on Java by pressing F3 and G at the same time, and on Bedrock Edition, the best method is to go to 0, 0, and every 16 blocks is a new chunk. Now, one chunk in the nether contains 16 by 16, and the height limit is 128, meaning 32,768. One chunk in the nether can contain 32,768 blocks, and technically 1.6 of those blocks are ancient debris on average. This chart shows you just how much more concentrated the spawn rate is at Y14 and Y15, so it's important we hit this area. And here's a quick reminder to subscribe if you've already learned something. Method 1. Bed mining. This has become quite a popular method in the last few years, as its debris per hour is quite high. Essentially, you're going to explode a chunk with your bed, but it's not that simple. So first you want to find the edge of a chunk border. From the edge, mine 5 blocks like this and place down the bed and sleep. Move forward, place another bed, and once again explode. And here we've essentially cleared out a chunk at Y14 in a matter of seconds. If you're very lucky, you'll find one first go. If not, turn around and do the exact same on the other side of the chunk border. Now, before you try this, here's some game-changing tips. So for a start, get rid of this block and place down a slab instead, because less of your body will be showing to the bed, meaning you'll actually take much less damage. Also, ensure to be wearing decent armour, and even better, blast protection armour. Bring plenty of food as well as a few fire resistance potions just in case you hit a lava pool. And if you do hit some lava, block it up straight away so it doesn't hide any debris. For efficiency, just strip mine a nice sized tunnel, and at the edges create your 5 deep hole and place a bed. That way everything is pre-set up and all you have to do is sleep. Speaking of which, you'll be needing quite a lot of wool to make the beds, so I'd highly recommend making a wool farm. Click the card in the top right for one of the easiest efficient sheep farms out there. And this bed mining method will get you approximately 30 debris per hour. For an even better method though, keep watching. Method 2, strip mining. Of course I had to throw strip mining on the list, as although it's an all-time classic, it's still one of the best methods. Now, you might think it's as simple as going to Y14 and mining in one direction, but actually it isn't. So there's a few different ways to strip mine, starting with a 2x1 tunnel. This method works fine, but you can actually head to a chunk border and mine a 2x2 tunnel like this, effectively doubling your chances of finding ancient debris. Some people also like to go a little bit wider with the spread, covering more ground. It's also really useful for when you bump into gravel or any slow mining materials, as you can simply just skip round it, wasting less time. And surprisingly, some players actually like to just completely mine out the full chunk, which is great because you won't miss any netherite, but it's simply less efficient. Now, before I tell you the best strip mining method, here's some really helpful tips. So, when mining with a diamond pickaxe, for example, the mining speed maxes out at efficiency 2. This means any enchantment higher than efficiency 2 is kinda wasted. and it's definitely not required, so just stick with efficiency 2. Stick unbreaking on your pickaxe to make it last longer, or potentially mending, as all the quartz you mine will keep your pickaxe going for much longer. And once again, bring potions of fire resistance just in case you bump into some lava and accidentally get burned. Also, here's a quick biome tip. If possible, try to do this in the warped forest biome, as only endermen spawn here, making this the most safest biome to do this in. And I would highly recommend staying away from soul sand valleys, as you'll just hit loads of soul sand which will constantly slow you down. And absolutely do not strip mine in the basalt deltas, as you're surrounded by constant lava pools and all the blackstone and basalt, which will slow you down incredibly. Anyway, after testing all these variations of strip mining, I'd recommend sticking with the 2x2 tunneling on a 2-chunk border, as you'll get approximately 40 ancient debris per hour, which is 10 more than method 1. However, this next method is by far the best. Method 3. TNT mining. So for this method you'll just need TNT and a flint and steel, but having access to elytras and fireworks speed up this method. To get lots of TNT, I'd advise moving to a desert, get a few shulker boxes down and clear out a whole area of sand. For the gunpowder, I'd highly recommend making a creeper farm. I'm making a tutorial on that very soon, so if the video is out, you'll see a pop up in the top right. If not, I'm sure you can find one on YouTube. So anyway, moving back to the Nether. After doing multiple tests on the most efficient way to place the TNT, it's very clear not to place them after each other one by one in a line like this, or even place one, skip one, place one. In fact, the most efficient way to cover the most area with the blast is to place 2 TNT, skip a block, 2 TNT, skip a block, etc. So go ahead and mine on a chunk border, probably at least 100 blocks away, and put down the TNT in the method that I said. So before you explode this, ensure you've dug a little bit further on from the tunnel so you're definitely safe from any blast that could come and kill you. So once you've set off the TNT, just follow the blast as it explodes its way down the tunnel and mine any ancient debris you find along the way. And with this method you can expect to find approximately 100 ancient debris per hour. Yes, this is by far the best method to find Netherite. However, I'm sure you've realised it requires the most preparation out of the 3 methods. So in conclusion, if you are in more of an endgame situation with access to the correct resources, definitely 100% TNT mine. But if you aren't at that stage in your Minecraft world yet, either bed mine or strip mine for sure. Before you go and try these out for yourselves, here's some additional information that will help you out. So when you've collected your ancient debris, craft either a furnace or a blast furnace. Use a bucket of lava as your fuel source, as it is easily accessible in the Nether, as well as it burns for much longer than coal, specifically a total of 50 ancient debris. Now at this point you should have tons of gold nuggets from all the mining you've just done, so craft them into golden ingots. Create a smithing table with 4 wooden planks and 2 iron ingots. Collect your netherite scraps and craft them with the golden ingots to finally create netherite ingots. And the final step is to place diamond armour into the smithing table along with 1 netherite ingot and collect your netherite tools. Now this video took me such a long time to create, so consider subscribing and let me know which method you're going to be using.